Welcome to Mirror Work Conversations with Lady O. We are going to jump right into this video. Another recent video from Doug Ford announcements. I'm telling you, Doug Ford is, I think, every day he is making his rounds. Many people are wondering if he's going to be calling an early election or not, but whatever it is, it's good for Ontario because things are getting done. They aren't just lip service. He's making announcements. Things are getting done right before it, during it, after it. So the turnaround time and his announcements, after you hear it and then it coming to fruition, it's looking really good. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this one. It's an announcement that he's made with his ministers in regards to helping Ontario families because of this carbon tax and everything else that's happening. And it's another good announcement. So let's hear it from Doug.
Loud and clear from people across the province that they're feeling the pinch. Today's announcement is a huge acknowledgement about our prudent and responsible plan that is working. And while inflation and interest rates have slowly begun to ease up and come down, workers and families right across the province are still feeling the high cost of groceries, the high cost of gas, the high cost of housing, and of course, the increasing federal carbon tax, which is pinching their household budgets. Just 2 days ago, the Premier and I and our colleagues, and of course our great colleagues from Scarborough as well, announced that we're keeping costs down by proposing to extend the cut to the gas and fuel tax rate until June 30th, 2025. And tomorrow, I'll have the privilege of releasing our 2024 fall economic statement.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to be back here in Scarborough. You know, I remember this going up, the pool, when Rob was mayor, and boy, it was spectacular.
I miss Rob. I don't care what anybody has to say. I miss Rob Ford. He was the people's mayor. I remember going through a situation and my place of employment was trying to push things under the rug. You go through all the channels and nobody seems to want to take it seriously. And I sent a letter to the mayor's office, to Rob Ford, and got a response back. I sent it registered mail, got a response back, and then I got a response back from my employer, and they weren't too happy that the mayor's office contacted them after I've tried all of the internals. And from since then, it's been a witch hunt. I'll do another podcast on that. But he was a people's mayor. He made sure that businesses, no matter private or public, he made sure they know that any Torontonians that has to come to him means that they've already exhausted all other avenues, and he comes at them. And that's why at City Hall they didn't like Rob, and this is why I am really wanting Anthony Furey to get into City Hall, and to, you know, nobody can ever be another Rob Ford. Rob Ford is Rob Ford. Anthony Furey is Anthony Furey. However, there is some conservative similarities and some level of integrity that City Hall is afraid of. So this is why we need to shake them up and continue the drainage of the cesspool, the gravy train that Rob talked about. But anyhow, Doug, continue with your speech.
Facility and the Olympic-sized pool, and boy, it just brings back a lot of memories. I love Scarborough. I always call it my second home. And before I get started, I want to thank Graham and Raphael, two champions back there. They're doing an incredible job running this facility, and everyone here at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre for hosting us today. This is such a great facility, a place where families come together to stay active and embrace healthy lifestyles. Thank you for everything you do to make this center such a vital part of the Scarborough community. And congratulations on celebrating your recent 10th anniversary. It's a tremendous milestone. Friends, the previous Liberal government, they failed to build. They saddled businesses with high energy cost and costly cap and trade carbon tax. The result? Plants and factories closed as 300,000 people lost their jobs, went south of the border. Since being elected in
Yeah, thanks, Kathleen Wynne. And in addition to that, our children's educational curriculum went south as well.
2018, our government has been on a mission to rebuild Ontario's economy. There's over 860,000 people working today that weren't working 6 years ago. As Peter mentioned, later this week, our government will table our fall economic statement. This document is the next step in our government's plan. It's an ambitious plan to build roads, highways, hospitals, homes, and schools. It's a plan that's creating the conditions for businesses to invest, grow, and thrive. And it's a plan that's helping to create better jobs with bigger paychecks. The fall economic statement maintains our path to a balanced budget without ever raising taxes on people or businesses. In fact, since we came into office in 2018, we've increased government revenues by nearly $60 billion without ever raising a tax on businesses or people. We've reduced the cost on the backs of people. That's money.
Yeah, Olivia Chow, when people say in the scene, where are we going to get the money, where we get the money? You know what? A good leader can find it. A good leader could raise the money, and it does not have to come on the backs of the taxpayers. You guys can learn a lot.
That goes back into essential services, supporting our record investments in healthcare, education, long-term care, and infrastructure that benefits everyone. Friends, we simply refuse to raise taxes on people and businesses. Years of inflation, high interest rates, and the terrible Liberal carbon tax have made life too costly for too many people. I get it, and that's why we've been laser focused on keeping your costs down. We eliminated roll tolls. We scrapped the license plate sticker fee, saving the average household about $600 to date. We launched One Fare. Minister Thanigasalam was critical in putting together the One Fare to eliminate the cost of transferring between transit systems in the GTA, saving commuters up to $1,600 every year. We're fighting back against the Liberal carbon tax, and earlier this week we announced that we're extending the gas and fuel tax, saving families on the average of $380 a year. But we're not stopping there. Today, I am pleased to announce, as part of our fall economic statement, our government will provide every Ontario taxpayer a $200 tax-free rebate. And because we know kids come with more expenses, parents will receive an additional $200 for every eligible child. We're able to provide the relief because inflation has increased provincial sales tax revenues and because of the federal government's recent changes to their capital gains tax. But instead of holding on to this money like Bonnie Crombie would, we're putting it back into the pockets of taxpayers because life is expensive right now and because taxpayers are the best people to decide how to spend their money.
And this is what I believe he was trying to also do to give back more to us. With all these strikes and stuff, and people like, oh, you have all this surplus, give it to us, give it to us, give it to us. I always believed that Doug was holding on to it so that more can come back to us. I always believed that. People thought I was crazy, and I always thought that. And that's why I know the NDP, everybody's talking union, but I'm like, you know what? Majority of the workers in Ontario are not unionized. And then I saw some comments with the union workers, and they were just so flippant. They were very flippant. And it's like, oh, it's not our problem that you have to work 2 and 3 jobs, and that's okay with you. It was so callous and so disgusting, their comments. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, a lot of us have to work 2 or 3 jobs, and you who are already unionized, you're still wanting more on top of more with your one job. And there was this like this contempt, this disdain that the union workers had with other workers, and it was just the way in which they made their comments. It was just so disgusting. And we're supposed to be all labor, right? All work. No, even in the working class, there are hierarchies. And labor unions really believe that not really believe, they exist as the higher level of working class, and everybody else at the bottom, that's your problem, it's your fault if that's what you have to do. When they're going on strike and they don't care about the other families that they inconvenience as they're striking for more money, and the more money they're striking for, they're already making more than most people. And I remember that time we all had to remind them of how many working class, middle class people are going to the food banks. And it's in that conversation, it's in one of the Twitter threads, where union workers were actually making some callous statements about, you know, like they did not care. It's not their problem that working class people have to go to food banks. You know, then it was just so callous. So don't want to digress too much, but I really believe that what happened with these unions, when they see the surplus, their eyes get large. How can we take from it, and not realize that that should be for the working class? It should be for the non-unionized working environments, those that do need to get rebates, those that do need to be able to have their children do extracurricular activity, and have their children be able to, buy groceries that's not discounted, or stand in a food line, a food bank line, um, after paying rent. And again, I'm gonna already shown you some clips of some banking statements of the middle class, the working class. um, and it's, yeah, unions. I remember the whole purpose of unions and the whole purpose of the NDP party, and I remember having a conversation, and it's just not what it was anymore. So we're always grateful for uh, Doug Ford and the Conservative Party when they use their surplus and they give back to the families that are not unionized. Those that are on the lower end of the income brackets and don't have all of these perks.
Same time, we're making historic investments in healthcare and education. It's not either or. Keep costs down or invest in social programs. It's and. We can and are doing both. These $200 rebates will make a big difference for families across the province, with checks arriving earlier in the new year. For an eligible family of 5, these rebates work out to be approximately $1,000. That's money that families can use to pay off their credit card after the holidays, to buy a winter coat for their kids, or to cover the cost of gassing up the family car to make up for the cost of the Liberal carbon tax. As I always say, this money belongs to the taxpayers, not the government. And we're giving it back to the taxpayers where it belongs. Not everyone would take this same approach. Bonnie Crombie and the Liberals have called our cut tax and all our taxes that we're cutting and fees little gimmicks. She'll bring back the license plate sticker fees, she'll bring back the road tolls, and raise the gas tax. She even said she's considering introducing a new sales tax, which would drive up the cost of absolutely everything.
I'm sorry. You see this Liberal NDP tax, 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 tax. As I said, I remember taxes came in, and this was during the world wars, and it was to help fund the wars. And then when it's ending, we're supposed to have ended it, but no, no, just keep taxing us. And where is it going? Like, to whom much is given, much is required. But it seems like you Liberal NDPs don't feel like there's nothing that should be required from you. Like, no, use what you have right now properly. Like, honestly, I'm just fed up. I've been already fed up with the Liberals from since 2020 was when, to me, the straw that broke my camel's back. But that was, I don't know what else it's gonna take for other Ontarians to keep the Liberals where they are, like non-relevant. They need to have 0 seats at Queen's Park.
Bonnie might think it's a gimmick to cut taxes and fees. We disagree. And while Bonnie raised taxes to the highest levels in Mississauga has ever seen, we'll never ever raise taxes. Instead, we'll keep finding ways to keep costs down for hardworking families, including with tomorrow's fall economic statement. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Open the floor.
Thank you.
We will now open the floor for questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First reporter.
Morning, Premier Richard Southern, 680 News Radio. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good, Richard. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir. Question, will this be means tested? And if not, why will millionaires and even billionaires be getting a $200 check here in Ontario?
You know, I knew that was coming, Richard, because they're taxpayers. These are tax dollars going back to the taxpayers. And we're going to give it back to every single person in Ontario. And if they
that pay taxes, I'm telling you, these, did they pay taxes? Yes. So is it also their money? Yes. It's always, why does the rich right as the rich? Why don't you ask the Liberals? You know, the Liberals that keeps getting away with all these corruption scandals of millions, but you're still standing behind them. How about their ministers? Like, listen, taxpayer, they pay taxes too, right? Everybody gets it. So, like, why should they get it? Because they pay taxes? They did not pay taxes? Ay, ay, ay.
have a child, they're getting an additional $200 because life's too expensive right now. You know, the cost of groceries are going up because of the carbon tax. The gas is going up because of the carbon tax, the 17.5 cents that the Liberals put on there. But guess what? Bonnie Crombie wants to increase that. She wants to increase your taxes, increase the carbon tax. As we say, Bonnie Crombie is the queen of the carbon tax. The difference between our party and the Liberals and NDP, they believe in one thing: tax the taxpayers to death, drive companies out of this province. We've taken a different approach. That's why there's 860,000 people working today that weren't working under the Liberal regime. They lost 300,000 jobs.
Premier, there will be many who will no doubt question the timing of this. It sure looks like you're in campaign mode. As recently as yesterday, you didn't rule out the possibility of an election next year. Are you trying to buy Ontarians' votes with this $200?
Well,
I'm sorry. Are you trying to you see these reporters? Go and find out where they're living. Go find out where their houses are. You'll see they're very comfortable. All of these announcements that he's made so far, and even I was even in LinkedIn. I make those comments like, hey, what's going on, Dougie? Like, a lot of announcements, good announcements, and you're following through with these announcements. You know what? I prefer to have announcements where they're coming true and you call an election than to be giving me announcements and they're not coming true. The Liberals are good for that. They're already, it reminds me of Kamala and Biden, already in power, and they're telling you what they're going to do, but you're already there. Why don't you do it? Why don't you get it done? Liberals and NDP are not in power. That's a good thing, because we've seen what they've done when they're in power. And Bonnie Crombie, she just came from Mississauga, the mayor. You should hear what they're saying about her over there. So stop it. Are you trying to buy people? You know what? I haven't heard what Doug has to say, so let's hear what Doug has to say. Are you trying to buy people like we're that stupid? No. Thank you very much for every rebate that you can give us back. Thank you very much. How about he had asked the teachers and all these unions that is wanting more money during the time when we had lockdowns, during the time when people lost their jobs, and during the time when you had the working class going to the food banks? Why don't you ask the unionized representatives this question about them and their strike, where they keep holding us as hostage? I really wish some of these reporters would take the same kind of energy to these people. Let's hear what Doug has to say.
Well, Richard, I got to laugh when you ask me these questions. But anyways, we've done this from day one. 6 years ago when we started to put money back into people's pockets. We put $1,600 into every transit rider's pockets. And a family of two, $3,200. A family of four, That's $6,400 going back into the taxpayers' money. We got rid of the sticker tax, as I call it, the vehicle license tax. Guess what? The Liberals would bring it back. They'd bring back taxes, they'd increase taxes, take money out of your pockets, they'd drive companies out of this province like they did before, they'd hike energy cost as we reduced it 15 to 17%. That's the difference between ourselves and the Liberals and NDP.
Toronto Star.
Hi, Chris.
You've often said that you took over a province that was bankrupt, so wouldn't it be better for you to pay off hundreds of billions in debt as opposed to giving out money?
Well, you know something, we've shown when you lower taxes.
Can we switch lives? Like, you know, the people always want to say, why are you giving out money? Wow, the privilege. Listen, Doug, keep doing it, eh, Doug? Honestly, keep what you're doing right now, Doug Ford. Please keep doing it, because you would be the people's premier. Just like your brothers was the people's mayor, you be the people's premier. You be the people's premier. Because every one of these people that talk about you, they also benefit from this.
You attract companies to a tune of about $60 billion of investment, $45 billion from the EV, another $5 billion from the life sciences, tens of billions of dollars in the tech sector. And last year, folks, Ontario manufacturers created more jobs in Ontario, manufacturing jobs in all 50 U.S. states. And guess what happens when you lower taxes? More revenues come up. There's 860,000 people who are paying taxes that weren't paying taxes 6 years ago. We've increased revenues by $60 billion by reducing taxes.
Good job.
The only government that I can think of in recent memory.
Good job.
And we're going to continue focusing on putting money back into people's pockets.
Exactly.
Because it's tough out there. I literally just got a message from a gentleman in Brampton saying, I'm struggling, I need help with my truck driving license. Well, there you go, my friend. You can put that $200 towards that truck driving license, and if you have kids, they're all getting $200 too, and your spouse will get $200. So that will help someone get a license and start their own driving business.
At the end of this, I'm going to show you the receipts of the bank accounts of Ontario. You see these people saying about money given back? I'm going to show you the receipts of the bank statements after rent is paid, working class, working families, at the end of the month, what they have left. You see these news reporters? You see these media puppets? I will show you the receipts. I will show you the receipts of the bank statements of what people have left over.
Hey, good morning, Premier Colin DeMello from Global News. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. So it appears that you guys are agnostic about who's getting the check. As long as you're an Ontario taxpayer, you will be getting this check. If somebody has committed a crime, auto theft as an example, and they're out on bail, do they receive $200 from you?
If they've committed a crime and they've been convicted, no. That's the answer.
Okay, but
hopefully they'll be in jail if they're stealing cars.
Okay, but if they are on bail, they would receive it.
See the funny thing about it? That's federal. They have nothing to do. This is the problem. You're making it sound like this is his fault. You, Mr. Colin DeMello, the one that is so... Why don't you go to Justin Trudeau and say, hey, Ontario's trying to do something to help their people. You see the bail reform that you have? Where people are being able to get out on bail and why don't you fix that? So the rest of us should be penalized because of them. You know what, you reporters? I'm telling you, let's switch bank accounts, and let's switch bank accounts. At the end of the month, I would like a lot of these reporters to switch bank accounts. But the average Ontarian, middle class, working Ontarian, I'd love for you to switch bank accounts. That's working their butt off, and still at the end of the month, you'll see what they have left. So those who are out on bail, go talk to Justin Trudeau so that they don't go on bail, so that Doug Ford's policy can actually go to the people that you don't want it to go to.
136 companies worldwide came to Ontario to invest $11 billion and create 12,200 jobs. That's what it does.
Hi, Premier. Good morning. Barbara with QP Briefing. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Barbara?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to ask you on this check rebate. You said it will be for every taxpayer in Ontario. I'm just wondering if that's for Canadian citizens only, or if it also includes people that they're living here on permanent residency visas and working visas as well, who are not from Canada.
If they paid taxes in 2023 and they're paying taxes, they're getting a rebate check.
And they file their tax return. If they pay taxes, they file their tax returns, and they have the notice of assessments. You paid into it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone who's paying taxes.
On a totally different topic now, the big city mayors, they put forward a motion some days ago asking for more assistance to handle homelessness and also an update to the Healthcare Act. So what are the steps the province is taking to follow up with their request? And are we going to see something still in this legislative session?
Well, I talked to many of the big city mayors. You know, first of all, there was a ruling in Waterloo from the court saying you have to put someone into a shelter. That's fine. And they get a choice. So they go into a shelter, they look around, I don't like it. Well, that's a problem. If there's a roof over their heads, they have to do it. But I have an idea. Why don't the big city mayors actually put in writing that they want the province to change the homeless program, make sure that we move the homeless along, and why don't they use the notwithstanding clause or something like that? That's what they should be doing, rather than just kind of going up to the edge. Let's see if they have the backbone to do it.
Good for you.
If they really want the homeless situation to improve, because I'll tell you, I get endless calls about people camping out in the parks, needles being all over the park. They're scared to put their kids out in the park by themselves, no matter what age it is, and we have to make a move. But big city mayors, you want to get it done? I need that letter.
Good.
Finding it tough to pay for their groceries, to fill up their tanks with gas, buying their kids clothes. They're finding it tough. It's going back to the taxpayers.
Yeah, thanks. So, this is a government that keeps putting money back into people's pockets. $8 billion that we put in our budget last year that goes back into people's pockets. As the Premier said, not only have we committed to not increasing taxes and fees, we're actually cutting taxes and fees. And just remember, the reason that we can do this is because we've got a balanced books that we're projecting, that we've been good fiscal managers. So it's allowed us to have the capacity with a growing economy and revenues, as we highlighted in the public accounts, to be able to do this, number one. Number two, this is going to impact the vast majority of households in Ontario. There are many, many people. The Premier gets those phone calls. We all do as caucus members every single day. I was just talking to someone last night at 10 o'clock who's got 4 kids, really struggling. This is happening right across Ontario, where the cost of everything has been up, and gas, groceries, housing, you name it. And this is a check that will come very quickly. You don't have to file a tax return. It's not down the road. It's going to get in your pockets really quick. That's how this government is helping people today, because they need the help today.
Morning, Premier. Lane Harrison, CBC News. I want to ask you first, Radio-Canada has learned that the Trudeau government will announce plans for a high-speed train linking Quebec City and Toronto, a project that would cost dozens of billions of dollars. What are your thoughts on that project and how it might impact Ontarians?
Well, I've heard about it. I've talked to the representative about doing this. It's something we'll look at. And, I think we need higher populations. You see, it all works in Tokyo, works in high populated areas, but let's not rule out anything. We'll sit down and see what they have to offer there.
Yeah, because I'm looking at my time, I want to keep it below 45. So I'm going to bring up these that I'm showing here that I promised. So I'm going to start back here from, this is February 2024. After rent is finished being paid, that's how much a middle class working family with dependents has. Then this is May 2024. Do you see that? 3 cents. Do you see that? 3 cents. Trying to see if I can pull it up. I think you should be able to see it. 3 cents after they finish paying rent. 3 cents. May 2024. June 2024. 2 cents. Middle class, working family, dependent children. Because they don't want to be, they pay their rent on time. You know how many Ontarians are, you talk about sitting at the kitchen table and they make sure everything is paid because they do not like to be owing or being in debt. After they pay off credit cards, they put gas in, groceries in, and this is what they have left. So for that reporter that's talking about, are you trying to pay people? Are you trying to buy people? And why are you giving money? Working class, middle class, they're not on welfare, not on any social assistance. They're pulling up their bootstraps. This is what they have left. That's June 2024. Then you have August. Ooh, a better month. They got a whole $175.02 left. After they finish, let's see if we can pull this up. Bill payments. After they finish making bill payments. After they finish credit card payments. People are out there paying bills. They're doing their best. And you're saying, oh, yeah, it does matter. It does matter. Now comparing that, as I said, I showed this. This was August 4th, 2022. They had $12.12 after paying everything. That was August 4th, 2022. And this is now August 12th, 2024. 2 years later. Let's see the state of Ontario, right? Under Justin Trudeau, all these taxes. So this was October 4th, 2022. This is now October 12th, 2024. After they paid rent, food, 2 days later, bought groceries again. Look, they're talk about looking for sales. Groceries again. So this is like probably buying like bread and milk. 2 years later, look at that. Let me tell you something. So when you reporters are thinking that this is like what Doug Ford is saying is not a big deal. Working family, middle class. So they got $210.49. August 12th, 2024, comparing to, October 10th, October 12th, 2024. October 4th, 2022. August 2024. June 2024. May 2024. February 2024. So when you reporters want to throw shade or make it not seem like a big deal, you have no idea what the average middle class working family is dealing with. So yes, that $200 that you might not think is a big deal, and the $200 you talk about, oh, it's people who's gonna be on bail and all that. Listen, let Trudeau deal with that. Let them deal with that. Send the money to those. Don't be trying to now create red tape, yellow tape, and all that. No. Go deal with your liberal government, your liberal NDP that you guys keep in power, and let them deal with that. This is the debate he's talking about, right? Scarborough, as part of the upcoming 2024 Ontario Economic Outlook and Fiscal Review, the government is supporting Ontario families struggling with the high cost of federal carbon tax and interest rate, because again, for credit card payments, interest rates, mortgage, all of that. So they're going to provide $200 taxpayer rebate to all eligible Ontario taxpayers to ensure families with children are not overlooked. The government is also proposing to provide families an additional $200 for each eligible child. Right? We're going to do everything we can to keep the costs down. Listen, yeah, we need it. We families need it. Family needs it. Families need it. Families need it. So for all you reporters that are like joking and thinking this is not a big deal, it's affecting many who are out there working, trying to make ends meet. You guys don't know. You guys don't know. Hence why we talk about, there was making the statement during the lockdowns of people, they want to offer maid instead of, people are going to food banks, offering them maid instead of wine. Trudeau, listen, I'm just looking forward to a clean sweep, a three press squad, federally, provincially, municipally, conservative. It's time to end this madness. This is Lady O. Stay in action, faith, and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say.